goodness, I am so excited to be here, y'all. I don't think you understand. I have had the House of Blues Foundation Room, this exact comedy show, on my vision board for like a year. Thank you for clapping. I've achieved my goal. That also tells you a little bit about me, that I am a white lady. I'm a white lady who has a vision board. I do power poses and I say affirmations in my mirror. Some of y'all really relate to that, and I know this. I heard it's one of y'all's birthdays. Is it your birthday? Yeah. What's your sign? Happy birthday.
Aries, yeah.
She's an Aries. Awesome. So for those of y'all who are not also white ladies in the crowd, that means that she's going to love the rest of my set. I know that about an Aries. So happy birthday. No, I am a white lady. That's something that you can tell about me right from the bat. You can tell based on everything. I am such a white lady that I think I could solve the John Benet Ramsey case. Anybody else in here have white lady friends who say, I could be in the FBI? A couple of y'all are guilty giggling. Like, you don't want to admit that you're the friends who feel like they could be in the FBI. And here's the thing. I thought that too for a little while. Like, I love a true crime podcast. When the authorities caught the Zodiac killer a couple months ago, and by caught, I mean, like, he's already dead, so R.I.P. to him, I guess. And by authorities, of course, I don't mean true crime podcasters, I mean like the actual police. But when that information dropped, it was like, in my group chat, as if Taylor Swift had released a new album. It was blowing up in my White Lady group chat, I'll tell you that much. No, I'm really into true crime, but the problem with women who think that they could be in the FBI is that what they're doing is just putting together like a string of 3 different Venmo transactions to see who's hooking up. And really reading deep into the subtext of texts that they're receiving. And I hate to break it to y'all, my fellow white ladies, but that's not being an FBI agent. That's called being an English major. And I would know, because I too was an English major. And that's why I do stand-up comedy now. No, I'm guilty of this. I totally had an ex-boyfriend's best friend of mine from like college follow me on Instagram recently, and he watches every single one of my Instagram stories. And so I'm looking into this being like, oh, well, the self-centered part of me thinks that that's because he always harbored a crush on me back when we were in college, and he felt like now enough time has passed, so he wants to test the waters, see if there's something there, and there is. But the logical part of my brain, like I'm not crazy, y'all, the logical part of me knows that what he's really doing is investigating to see if I'm single so that he can hook me up with my ex-boyfriend from college. And I am, so it's working. No, I am a white lady. I think that you can tell that also by my vices. For example, I think I have a drinking problem. And that problem is I love $14 cocktails. That's less of a problem for me, more of a problem for the people who I date. But I have expensive tastes. I also think that having a drinking problem that is exclusive to $14 cocktails isn't really a problem, because nobody goes to AA for tiki drinks, right? Actually, they do. It's called a carnival cruise. No, that sort of extends to other vices in my life. Like, who here smokes pot? Okay, we got some cool people in the crowd. I am not cool enough to smoke pot, but I do pot, as evidenced by the fact that I said do pot, in the form of sour peach gummy rings. Like, that's the only pot that I allow myself to do. Like, it's sort of a notorious thing for comedians to be addicted to cocaine. And I would be hooked on cocaine if Gwyneth Paltrow had figured out a way to sell me cocaine in little $200 tablets that I could shove up my hoo-ha. That's the kind of cocaine that I'm interested in trying. It's a cool subscription service action movie. No, I do love drinking. Anybody here drinking? Woo! says a lot about who you are as a person. That's like a commonly held belief, right? Like, if you like gin and tonics and you have a complicated relationship with your father. If you're still drinking Busch Light as an adult and someone needs to tell you that you were never going to make it on your high school baseball team, Jared. Me, when I was in college, my drink of choice was Peach Andre. Does anybody here know Peach Andre? Some people said, oh no. And that's probably correct. For those of you who are uninitiated in Peach Andre, it is peach-flavored sparkling Moscato. I have to put Moscato in air quotes there, because I don't think legally you're allowed to call it Moscato. But what that meant was that when I was in college, I was a woo girl who thought that I was better than everyone I was in high school with. Still do. But it ended up being really useful for me. So when I was growing up, my mother, God bless her, told me, Courtney, if you ever want to get a husband, you need to learn about football. And so I took it upon myself to do some research. That's my Capricorn energy for you. And so I watched every single episode of Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders making the team on country music television. A landmark media. And this was before TiVo, so I couldn't fast forward through any of the boring football parts. And I learned a lot from those women. And it's actually going to help me out a lot, because later this week, y'all, I have a date with a retired pitcher from the Boston Red Sox. Thank you. But before you come up to me after this set and say, Courtney, that's a baseball team. I know, but they're just both ball sports where you try to keep the ball away from the other team, and they're both really long. But at least one of them, you get a song and dance break in the middle.